Coming up this week, death, loss, and conflict. It's another fun family adventure on the Clone Wars Season 3, Episode 17-19. This week on your Star Wars safe space. It's so depressing. But stick around. It'll be fun. Of course, right?
Yeah. Yay.
Yay. We're all so sad. Oh, man. These were depressing episodes.
They were hard. They were rough. They were good, though.
They were good. They were excellent, but this was a rough watch. Wow. All right, so howdy, Star Warriors. Welcome to Star Wars Safe Space, your non-toxic, low-sodium Star Wars show that doesn't make you feel bad for knowing that in Star Wars A New Hope, the evil and grumpy Grand Moff Tarkin wore slippers on the Death Star so his feet could be more comfy. Because the boots that the actor Peter Cushing wore were far too tight and uncomfortable for his size 12 dogs.
That's right.
Damn. So he wore little slippers, which I'd like to think that they were fuzzy bunny slippers. But
that would be awesome.
That'd be hilarious, right?
I envision like the Mickey Mouse feet, you know, like
yeah,
the big yellow.
Yeah.
So you have this dark gray, German gray colored suit in this dreary Death Star bridge, and
Tarkin is just
ass yellow,
and Tarkin is just sour. Tarkin is just sour, and then these bright yellow Mickey Mouse feet. Love it. So so whether you're a hardcore fan or just a little Swarzy curious, this is your Star Wars safe space. We are the Circle of Nerds, and we do absolutely love Star Wars, even if we don't always like it. So shall we meet the crew? This fine day. To my left, your right, star of stage and screen, it is the sensational Sherry. I learned where the buttons are finally.
Yay!
After 6 episodes.
After
all this. And hailing from parts unknown, it is T to the Oni.
Welcome back to the galaxy, everybody.
And we're hanging out here in the Outer Rim territory of Bostoween with the fabulous Daddy Louie.
Hello, children.
Yay! And I am Tommy D, your more than slightly obnoxious Star Wars know-it-all. And we are here to watch all of the canon TV shows and films in mostly chronological order. These last several episodes have actually been in chronological order.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thanks,
I think Dave got our letters that we were sending him to.
Don't say that too soon.
I know. We still got a lot of Star Wars to go. We got a lot of Clone Wars left ahead of us. So that is our goal, to watch all of this, breaking them down, connecting the dots, and maybe learning a little bit more about Star Wars and ourselves. And Louis has already been able to connect some dots because you've seen some other shows. You watched Ahsoka, and so now you're seeing some things.
Yeah.
Like
things are coming to light.
Especially with Mortis, all of that.
Yeah.
So cool. We'll segue into that now. So yeah, we're going to be, so Word of Whirling, there will be spoilers. So please be aware of that. So if you haven't watched these episodes, maybe go watch them now and then come back and then watch this, or not, or just hang out. So, but before we do all of that, it's time for the news. Skirt.
Yeah. So by the time this episode comes out, you'll have already seen this. But fun fact, I guess, going forward. So Skeleton Crew, which again has already come out.
Yes.
But what people might not know,
and we're loving it, by the way.
Yes.
It's so really, it's so good. We absolutely love it.
So they're bringing in
right here. That's our camera right there.
Yeah. They're bringing this creature into canon. So this creature is a Legends creature coming into canon, first appearing in the Ewoks movie.
And what's the name of this creature?
The name of this creature is a Teek. Teek.
Like
a teat? A teat?
A teak.
Teak.
Not a tit.
K. Okay.
Hey.
Not a teat. Okay.
No,
A teak, not a teat.
teak.
Got it.
So this creature first appeared in Ewoks Battle for Endor,
Mhm.
and now it has been recanonized in the Skeleton Crew.
Nice.
And it was actually inadvertently, or maybe advertently, teased at this year's D23, which is the big Disney convention. And there was a stuffed one of these for sale.
Oh.
And people were like, oh, you know. And another fun fact, he is only this creature is only a hand puppet. So nothing beyond, and it will be a puppet in the show, or is in the show.
Yes.
It's so good.
We've already experienced a teat, and they've been so cool.
Right.
And super cute.
And super
But you probably
cute.
don't
Yes.
know. It is a once canon, now recanonized creature that is a simple hand puppet.
Little simple hand. I love it.
Is it?
I love it. I love when they do stuff like that. I like when they take stuff from older sources and
Bring it back and
canonize them. Yes.
It's awesome.
So let's get through this emotionally painful block of episodes. So we're wrapping up with the Ghost of Mortis. And it was a heart wrencher. This one was a heart wrencher. Oh, quickly though. So Sith Lords Darth Revan and Darth Bane were supposed to be in this episode as counsel and guides to the Son. But they ended up getting cut.
I wonder why. Does it say?
They were cut in late production, so it didn't really
Okay.
say exactly why. I'm sure it maybe had something to do with character models or time or budget or just the story itself.
Okay.
So I don't think we've talked about Darth Bane. I don't know if you're familiar with Darth Revan. This is like it's way past. Like we're
I
not
only
past,
know
but
the
way,
Darth Bane thing because Mark Hamill voiced him.
right. So we will be seeing Darth Bane again, but
So not
not yet. Okay. Not until season 6. Bit of a spoiler. So yeah.
okay.
So this was the final episode of this particular arc, the Ghost of Mortis, and Annie went through some shit in this story arc. So Tony, Sherry, please share some of your thoughts on this because we saw Anakin go through some things. Tony, kick us off.
So, I mean, first off, in this episode, I did find it a unique contradiction. In the previous episode of the same arc, Anakin's all about, I need to go after the Son, screw the father, we'll deal with that. And Obi-Wan's like, no, we should go talk to the father, we need help. And in this episode, it's the exact opposite. In this episode, Anakin's like, no, I need to go see the father right now. And Obi-Wan's like, screw that, let's just get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But then, there's so much. The thing for me is, we get to see this vision of Anakin's future. And obviously we all know what that entails.
Sure.
But first off, just to see it play out like this and see how seeing that affects him is huge. But then later you're talking to they're talking to the father, and the father's like, this isn't set in stone, but is it like, you're giving him this granted, he doesn't remember it now.
Right.
But like, you've given him all this guide to keep him on quote unquote the correct path. But yet that seems like that path is ultimately the path that we know he's going to take. And that's just,
because look how quickly he joined the Son to prevent further violence, which is exactly what we see him do to try to save Padme.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And then he saw himself choosing. He saw himself choosing wrong through this vision, and the destruction that choosing wrong would cause. And he still chose to choose wrong.
Yeah.
To try and fix the wrong.
Right.
He sided with the Son rather than taking a step. Because think about it, if he'd have taken a step back, maybe he could have combated that vision a little bit. And the father would have been like, well, maybe you need to keep this memory so that you're reminded of what you will do, and it prevents you from doing that. But instead, he just immediately went over to the dark side. Like that was the solution, right? Like he didn't even think about it. That was the solution, and he just did it like that. In
order to prevent me from becoming that guy, I have to become that guy. But he doesn't think of it on that level. He's like,
he makes such snap decisions. Yeah. He didn't give it twice a thought, and he put himself in the predicament that he didn't want to be in.
Because he can only think in absolutes, unfortunately. Right. Sherry?
Well, I think this just shows that the Force is fluid and it's ever changing.
It needs to be fluid for sure.
So, well, no, like, when you first start it, it's like, oh my God, he's the balance of all the whole galaxy because of this episode, the previous episodes. But then when you get to this episode, the father straight up was like, well, no, you're going to do it multiple times.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So is it like a time thing or whatever? I don't know. But so I found it like, obviously he's going to turn Darth Vader. We all know this. This is not a secret. But I think this helped mostly Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Because that's already set in stone for him. But for her, I'm thinking some things are going to start changing in her mind to get where she needs to go later on.
Yeah.
As we see.
And yeah, that's a really good point. Like what you said that, the father said, you're going to, balance the Force multiple times.
Right.
So you're balancing the Force today, and you're going to have the opportunity to balance the Force again, and he does,
But, and then they were gone for only a few seconds for everybody else. So was this real, or was it a Force vision for all of them?
So while we were kind of in between episodes, you and Tony were talking about an episode of Star Trek where there was a planet that essentially, so, people wouldn't forget them. They sent a vision to someone, and basically they lived their entire life with these people in a matter of minutes.
In their last years.
Yeah, the last years on this planet. So that no one would ever forget.
No, and it was, what was it, like? It was like friggin' like 25 years.
It was a lifetime. Years? Yeah, it was.
Or something.
Yeah, because Picard met this woman, had a relationship, had children. Yeah, they had children. He grew old and he died, and
in a matter of, 60 seconds.
Something like that. It was very quick, very quick. And I remember they ended up putting a beacon around the planet to warn other travelers.
No.
No,
it wasn't a planet. It was a there was
like an obelisk type of thing.
It was an obelisk, but no, the obelisk is dead. That was a different story. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
No. This one was the obelisk.
Yeah.
This was just to tell one person about their story.
Okay.
And then it stopped functioning after Picard got the story.
Got the message.
Got the message.
Okay.
The flute was in the obelisk
and
that he learned to play in. Yeah. So this could been kind of.
And isn't that crazy that he learned to play the flute as this person in this vision?
Well, it shows you your brain.
And then it's like the Matrix.
It doesn't matter.
Downloaded, he's like, I know Kung Fu.
Yeah.
But I know how I can play the flute.
Show me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was this all like physical manifestation that was just kind of like taken out of time and out of space as we know it? Or was it a vision, a very realistic vision or simulation that was given to the three of them by the Force? Like a shared, almost like a shared delusion between the three of them, or shared illusion between the three of them.
Yeah.
So was it physical, or was it all just in their minds? What do you guys think?
I think it was in their minds.
No. There, that's the button.
No, I personally think it was like
in their minds?
A mind.
Because they were just like
they were literally right there.
Back on their ship.
Yes.
And there was no one there that could have put them back on their ship.
Either that or in a different in a different dimension.
It's like a different reality. But the Force works in mysterious ways.
Mm-hmm.
So What do you guys think? Physical, mental?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Okay.
Like, well, I mean, I guess if it's physical, then it has to be mental.
But it could have been very, I mean, like, again, if we go back to the Matrix, they say, the body cannot live without the mind. So if you die in the Matrix, you die in real life. So,
right. Yeah. I mean, I think that again, I've seen future things, so I have a pretty good idea that maybe it was real. But I could also see how you could think that maybe it wasn't. Right. I mean, it is a little strange that they just, like, there was the white light and then all of a sudden they were back on their ship, like they were coming out of
and like
a coma or a vision.
It's like they passed out.
Yeah, and they were right there in front of that Jedi cruiser,
like they never moved.
Right, and Rex said, "Oh, we lost you for a moment."
Yeah, but what happened in that moment? You know what I mean?
For Rex and them, nothing. But for our heroes, obviously,
it was clearly something because they were awake one minute and now all of a sudden they were waking up. So
and they were gone. Like in this reality, they were a few days.
Yeah,
at least, if not longer. I mean, who knows? Mm-hmm. So I don't know, but I do think it's interesting because we still really have no clearer understanding of the Force or how it works after all of this. It just creates more questions for me anyway, because there were supposedly physical representations of the light side and the dark side, but neither one of them were purely light or purely dark, because even the sun, they said the sun, he gave in to the dark side. So he wasn't the dark side.
Well, he was controlling.
Maybe he controlled the flow of the dark side.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Maybe there were like plugs. Maybe they were the stoppers in the Force. So without him, the dark side can flow freely. Well, again, without her, the light side can flow freely and upset the balance.
But like the father said, you're going to go and you're going to balance again. So he balanced them. This was a destined.
So he fulfilled the prophecy as the chosen one for this particular moment in time.
And he's going to do it again.
And he's going to do it again for the universe, for the galaxy.
For the galaxy.
Right.
So.
And what is that balance? Is that him ultimately destroying Palpatine? Is that him bringing life, through the children? Bringing the Skywalker kids? Or the balance?
I think that was unforeseen.
Because that wasn't in his vision.
No.
The twins,
children were not in his vision.
The twins were not in his vision.
She was for the chokeout.
Yeah, Padme was there.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
She wasn't pregnant right there. So the kids were.
She wasn't pregnant, I don't think.
She was not.
It didn't show her with a baby bump, did it?
No.
I didn't
notice.
I did.
Okay.
I looked.
Okay.
Because I was like, wait a minute. No.
She wasn't seen with a baby bump. So for whatever reason, the twins are hidden from the Force.
Correct.
So maybe they weren't supposed to exist.
No, I don't think they were. It was an unforeseen.
Yeah. Like
Yoda says, it's clouded.
Yeah.
He can't even see it. And the father said that as well.
He did. He said your future is clouded. And the biggest thing that really hit me for this episode was what the father said. And it's what we've been saying this whole time too. But he told Anakin with his last breath, beware your heart. Oh my God. I mean, that just says it all. I mean, because Anakin Skywalker is ruled by his heart. He's ruled by fear of loss. We learn, I mean, like you said, Louis, I mean, he was so quick to make that choice to sacrifice himself and his goodness.
So quick. Like he didn't even think about it.
Because he's so afraid to lose.
And he does it again.
Yeah, he does it again.
Like you didn't, but he forgot as well. If he would have maybe let him remember.
Yeah. Like
maybe he wouldn't have done that again.
Right.
Had he not given in so easily to show that, like, he clearly showed the father in that act of being not hesitant to join his son that, yeah, you don't need these thoughts. Like, you don't need to know that, and cleared his mind. But maybe he would have taken a step back, resisted, showed the father, hey, I want to not be that evil person. Maybe he'd have been like, yeah, keep your memories.
It's like he was so incredibly selfless. Like, that's the thing. Anakin is incredibly selfless he didn't think twice
but
about
selfish
it.
at the same time.
He is, yeah, because he's protecting his heart because he's so afraid to lose the people that
And
he
that's
loves.
a part of life. Loss is a part of life.
And he doesn't have that balance in him.
Correct.
He's never embraced the living force or the concept of the living force.
No.
He's never been able to do that.
Not until the end.
And had Qui-Gon been around, obviously we wouldn't even be having this discussion because Qui-Gon would
I
have
did
taught him.
like that.
Oh, that got me choked up. I'm not going to lie. I mean, seeing the two of them interact,
Yeah.
Hell, for all we know, Qui-Gon set this up
maybe.
in the living force because
Maybe.
he is part of the living force. So we know that. So
It's true.
maybe it's something he set up.
But I do find it interesting that Qui-Gon is able to do this. And we do learn that from Revenge of the Sith, you know, when Yoda tells Obi-Wan, you know, there's more I have to teach you about the Force that I learned from an old friend, you know, so that's, and that was another thing. Like, we don't see anyone else like go Force ghosty that, you know, like even Qui-Gon's body didn't disappear into the Force, but Yoda's does, Obi-Wan's does, you know, and the Father's does. So did Qui-Gon learn that ability in death from the Father? And then he taught
Everybody
Yoda
else.
he taught Yoda taught Obi-Wan how to ascend into the Force.
Instead of just dying.
Yeah. Because have we seen that since? Have we seen any other Jedi become one with the Force in that way?
No,
In live action?
no.
Just those two, right?
I think so.
Well, three with if you count the Father.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
A lot to think about. Lot to think about. And that's what I like about this. Because now we're seeing, you know, we know that Anakin becomes Darth Vader. I mean, we know that there's, you know, that's like one of the biggest.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert. But so what we know of that, you know, and then there's the redemption piece that goes along with it as well. But I think it's very, very
Which
interesting.
he didn't see that either.
No,
He
the
didn't
redemption
see his
wasn't
redemption
shown.
either.
Mm-mm. So what if he would have seen the redemption? You know,
But
would he have
that's-
made different choices?
who knows? But yeah.
So, my thought on that particular thing is the fact that he didn't see the children, nor did he see the redemption arc. So my thought on that is, and they bring it up in one of the Marvel films. I think it was Doctor Strange, where you can't see the future past your lifetime. Like once you're gone, you can't see past
Okay, that's
that
interesting.
time frame. And while technically Anakin does live, they make a point multiple times throughout Star Wars of saying Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader are two different people. Even though they're the same body, you know, whatever, they are two different things. So the fact that Anakin dies at that point before he ever meets the children, and obviously well before his redemption, that would make sense that he didn't see that.
Right.
But he did see the destruction of the Death Star, or the destruction of Alderaan, because he saw the Death Star shoot the lasers. So he had to have seen some. I mean, he did see past when he became Vader in that vision.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So-
Okay, yeah.
I saw Alderaan.
But there's certain things that he's not seeing, which I feel like is the light side stuff. He's seeing,
Right.
he's not seeing the good stuff. He's only seeing the bad
He
stuff.
did
in that
just see
vision.
the bad now
Right?
that you
He didn't
say
see his
it.
kids, which is a good thing. He didn't see his
No,
redemption.
yeah, now
which
that
is a
you
good
say that.
thing.
It's possible if that's manipulation. Where
Of course, the son,
only
yeah.
showing him what.
But you
Yeah.
know
Showing
what?
him the evil
The
stuff.
son may only be able to see that.
It's true.
And had the daughter lived, maybe she could have shown him,
The good.
right, you know, this is kind of like, you know, Christmas Carol, you know, the ghosts,
Oh, yeah.
you know, the Christmas past, present, and future. So maybe she was able to show him a future that could be, you know, the son showed the future that we know for him, but the daughter could have shown him something completely different.
Now she can.
Now she can't because she's gone.
She
Unfortunately,
did.
she did. All right, so let's get off that depressing.
Yeah, let's go to the
shit.
next.
But it is a lot of very interesting things to ponder.
Yeah.
I think I really like this, and I like when they go deep like this. We didn't see a lot of clones during these Clone Wars episodes, but
We're about to make up for that.
about to make up for that as we head to the Citadel for the Citadel and Counterattack episodes 18 and 19. first of all, we're going to bundle these two together. But we have to, of course, pay our respects, thoughts, and prayers. We lost some good people.
For real.
And they went out harsh. Some of them, we don't even know their names. So we know Charger and Longshot, RIP to those boys. And then in Counterattack, we lost, we don't know his name. He got cut in half.
Chopped in half.
So we're calling him Half Track.
Half track.
Half track, okay.
And then the other unknown trooper that got shot in the head on the bridge there.
Yeah.
By that doucher.
Yeah.
That was fucked up.
That Christopher Walken wannabe douchebag. So we're going to call him Headshot.
Okay.
And Echo.
I know. So sad.
Oh.
And they just show his helmet. His
helmet was just blasted hot and smoke. I mean, Echo.
Sorry, Echo.
And, thoughts and prayers, because we literally have known them since they were shinies.
Yes.
We've known them since they were recruits. And this is, in my opinion, why the Clone Wars is peak Star Wars. Because we're getting, like, we've had all these blanks, like, for people that have followed Star Wars for years and years since the original trilogy, we've had all these questions. We've all had all these gaps in our knowledge, of what happened. We know Obi-Wan talked about the Clone Wars,
right?
Princess Leia, you served, General Kenobi, you served my father during the Clone Wars. We've heard about Luke is like, you were in the Clone Wars. It's like we hear about this, and now we're seeing this. We see, so I really love this TV show because of that, because we're seeing these stories. We saw Obi-Wan as, kind of like the cute old hermit wizard living, in his little house out in the desert, minding his own business, but not minding his own business, keeping an eye on Luke. And we talked about it when we were watching, you see World War II veterans. They're just these cute little old men. Some of them are still kicking ass, jumping out of airplanes still.
Yeah, 92.
One guy was 98. 98
right.
years old. He was a paratrooper in World War II, and he, for his 98th birthday, he had his ass jumping out of an airplane.
They took him out to jump. It was cute.
That's hardcore.
I mean, he had a tandem.
It was a tandem jump,
they wouldn't let him jump alone.
But still.
But I bet you he could have jumped alone. He was probably pissed as hell.
I wouldn't have done it. You know what I mean?
He would have.
But he did. I mean, that's the thing.
Could you imagine that's the way to go out?
He jumped
at 98.
Yeah. I'd be fine.
I'd be like, I had a heart.
So this dude jumped.
Heart attack in the air.
Jumped into combat zones. This guy did. And I was thinking about this as we see Obi-Wan like rappelling down the side of this cliff. It's like, how are we going to get there? Well, I guess we're going to have to rappel down.
Yeah.
Seeing, and he just. All right, here we go. And,
No, but all of them were just excellent.
Yeah.
Like, it was so fun to watch them just
it
rappelling and doing, and then freaking Ahsoka parkour.
Flipping around, parkour everywhere. But it's really cool to see with Obi-Wan, especially, because we only knew him as an old man. Like when we first encounter Obi-Wan, he is an old guy. And then now seeing him on all of these adventures, seeing the kind of person that he was and the kind of person that he becomes even after the Clone Wars during that time span where he's looking over Luke.
Yep.
It's really cool. And it's really, I think it's what makes the Clone Wars series more endearing.
Yeah.
Because we do get these deep connections to these characters. I mean, a couple of clones, who cares? They're a couple of clones. But when you see that with Echo, that
it hurts your heart.
Hurts.
Well, yeah. And Dave obviously knew what he was doing when he gave the clones a face and a name
and personalities.
Because going into this, we know who's got plot armor. So to keep the show interesting, that these certain characters, no matter what threat you throw at them, they're going to survive.
Sure.
So they needed to give us new characters that they could not have that plot armor.
And we fall in love with them.
And these characters happen to be clones, but he does such a good job. They do such a good job giving them all such unique personalities. You fall in love with them as individuals rather than as a group of people.
I actually
And you
forget
feel their loss.
Right.
that they're clones
Right.
sometimes until their
Yes.
helmets are off.
Right.
You know, when they rescued them, they're all sitting there without their, and I was like, oh shit,
Yeah,
they
they're-
all look alike. I mean, you know, there's
Right.
little differences,
Right.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like how they change their own voices. That's
Yeah,
funny
you'll hear
to me.
subtle changes. There's
A lot of them do that,
Yeah.
like to kind of.
they want to
to
be
be
individuals.
unique.
They want to be
Bradley D.
unique.
Baker, man.
Yeah,
So
and,
good.
And yeah,
D. Bradley Baker.
Mr. Baker, that guy, he has literally voiced a cast of thousands.
And then we get to see
Crazy.
Tarkin for the
Yep.
first time, right?
Tarkin
Is this
and
the first time?
that we've seen him, yeah.
Okay.
So Tarkin and Anakin together.
Very strange.
Getting
Ooh.
a little snooty with each other.
Yeah, but
Well, the
little
captain
tension.
was being kind of shitty to the general.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
when Skywalker fired back, Tarkin, he was like, he smiled. So now he's like, okay, he's not just a little snot-nosed Jedi. Okay, he's got some space balls. So okay, he had that little smirk on his face, like, all right.
did.
He's like, so Will Huff. He was like, yeah, I like this guy. I can work with this guy. So it's interesting when we do see them again years later, you know, that he actually holds sway over Vader,
Yeah.
you know, in that moment, you know, and I've never really understood that. But again, it's like, you know, now we're backtracking. So it's
Yeah,
like,
so
you
it's
know,
fine.
but in that moment, you know, when Vader's choking out dude, and, you know, Tarkin's like, Vader, release him.
Does Tarkin know that Vader is Anakin?
I'm almost 100% positive. I'm like 99% positive.
I would think so.
It's like the galaxy's like worst kept secret. You know, I'm sure. And Grand Moff Tarkin was up there. He was a big dog.
That's
so
true. He was.
Palpatine, I'm sure, would have let him know.
Yeah.
You know, but I do wonder. I've always wondered that. What was the power dynamic there? What was the chain of command there? Because he said, Vader, release him, and he was like, as you wish. You know, but
Maybe they became.
but prior to that, like, I mean, and after that, Vader is just known for choking out officers. Like,
Well, maybe
and-
that's the problem. So
Tarkin was
Yeah,
like,
after
okay.
Tarkin's gone,
no
then
one's
he
there to
just
hold him
starts
back.
choking everybody out, right? Who else does he choke after? Nobody. Between the time that
Captain Nita,
Captain Nita dies.
Admiral Ozzel. Admiral
but that's
Ozzel
all
was the
in-
first. I think that's all in ESB, right? That's all in.
right, so only one person gets choked out in A New Hope, and that was in the boardroom.
Yeah. Yeah, but he didn't die, though. He didn't die. He didn't kill him.
Right,
Because Tarkin was there, right?
Right.
But
But
then-
then Tarkin dies at the end of A New Hope, and then
Yeah. And
spoiler alert.
Admiral Ozzel, like
But-
delivering one of
Never.
my favorite lines. Lord Vader, we have just made the jump. We have just come out of hyperspace.
And what about R2?
R2
Come on.
and his
With his own
boys.
command. With his own
Commander
command.
R2.
Commander R2
That was super cute.
and his boys.
That was super cute.
And they were running shit.
Discuss.
They were running shit. So how about when they were faking to have captured him and he was hitting R2 on the head with his and then when they got in the
like,
elevator, R2 was like,
"Motherfucker."
hey, we didn't agree to that.
Yeah, that wasn't the plan. I was just trying to make it real.
I'm sorry, I was trying to make it real. That was funny.
Oh, that's funny.
R2's a boss.
I hope those. I don't know what they're going to do with those, but
well,
they.
one of them didn't make it.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But they really need to keep them around.
I don't know
think
if we ever
that's
see
funny.
them anymore.
Probably
after that.
not.
Probably
but
not.
It's
but they
freaking
serve their
hilarious.
purpose. But it's just that was like the one lighthearted moment in the whole little 2-part episode.
But this was a
two-part.
genius move to
Yeah.
get into that place.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, in Carbonite and now Carbonite, we can hopefully get little models
God, I would love that.
of all of them.
So
in Carbonite.
anyone that's on that, any Etsy makers that are listening to the show or watching the show, I want a Captain Rex in Carbonite because and maybe even an Ahsoka in Carbonite. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I like when they came out and he
Wait,
was like,
was
hey,
she-
he was
was
like,
she-
hello, Snips.
Was she in somebody else's Carbonite?
No, she got into her own. She had her
Oh.
own.
She just waited till the other ones were in theirs, and then she was like, yeah, boop.
Yeah, she probably jumped in.
And said, hey, do it.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm supposed to be with them. And that Ugnaugh's going to be like, okay.
Yeah, he don't
He
care.
doesn't care.
That's so funny.
But that moment was very cool. Anakin comes out. He's like, oh, hey, Snips. He's like, hello, Master. And he's like, wait a minute.
And then Obi-Wan's like, are my eyes deceiving me from the thing? Or
Yeah, he's like,
that
do I
looks
have-
like Ahsoka.
He's like, there's nothing wrong with your
Are
eyes,
my
but apparently there's something wrong with her ears. And Obi-Wan's like, well, welcome to the party. Like, he doesn't care. He's like, okay,
he
whatever.
does, but I think he knows that
She can handle it.
she can, and she did. And it was actually good she went.
Yeah,
Because they needed her.
They would have had to scrub the mission. The whole mission would have been done.
So,
But again, Anakin's fear of loss.
okay, but
I know.
Yeah.
And this was cool too, because we start to see Ahsoka becoming disillusioned with the Jedi.
yeah.
And we'll see that play later on.
Mm-hmm.
But, she was like, I should be able to choose, when and where my life is placed in danger.
And
That
this is
shouldn't
where
be
it
up to him.
starts.
This is where it starts,
her
right?
Separation from him.
So I don't think it's a separation necessarily.
Well, I
think
don't mean
it's
you know what I mean.
They
Like-
start growing in different directions.
Yes.
And I think that she seems way more emotionally mature than him,
a lot.
She doesn't necessarily have that same level
But I
of
think-
fear that he does.
Well, she was taken younger.
Yeah, I don't know how old she was when she
I don't know, but
Was-
she was taken a lot younger.
Lore Master. Do we know that? Do we know how old Ahsoka was when she came to be with the Jedi? I know she was an infant when we see her for the first time riding that big ass saber-toothed cat. So that was pretty cool. But I don't know. I think she was like 12. I think like 12 or 14-ish when we see her for the first time.
12, I think
it's
is
12.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she's 16 by the end of the war, if I'm not mistaken. She's like 16, 17 by the end of the war. But I don't know. I'm curious to see how old she was. And yeah, I think that these episodes, like the deeper we get into season 3, it's just like the deeper we get like into the lore. We've got 3 more episodes left to watch in this season
I'm assuming the next one is the close to a 3-part arc, which
for the Citadel.
right.
Yeah.
So then there's only 2 after that.
There's
so
2
I
after
imagine it's a 2-parter.
I'm hoping for something with Jar Jar Binks.
No, you're not.
I need to laugh.
you're not.
At this point, brother, I need to laugh.
I know, but we need to go out with a bang.
We
We
need
can't
to
go out
smile.
with a Jar Jar Binks episode.
we got to go out with a Jar Jar Binks. So
No,
I'm
I'm good.
voting. I don't know what's
Pass.
coming up next. Seriously,
Pass, yeah.
Tony?
If I see when we turn this off, and you
Yeah.
know how it gives the little icon. If I see Jar Jar on any of those icons, I'm just gonna go upstairs.
Come on, man.
No, I'm
Well, come on. You can't.
I don't
come
need
on.
a Jar Jar episode.
We do
right
need a
now.
Jar Jar. Okay,
No.
what about a droid episode?
No,
Not a Jar Jar.
no.
See, you
Sorry,
didn't even.
I just came back.
You didn't even hear the whole conversation.
No Jar Jar anymore.
I said we just need something light. We've been dealing with this has been like 7 to 8 really heavy episodes.
I think they're going to get heavier.
Can we get some?
Ahsoka was born 36 BBY.
Okay, and this takes place 20 BBY.
which would make her 14 right now.
She's 14 right now. So, but when did she get to the Jedi? When did the Jedi get a hold of her?
Hang on.
If we know, I don't know if we know
might
that.
not.
So this actually suggests, and this is Wikipedia, this is basically saying that she died 20 BBY on Mortis, but then was resurrected.
Which is what we just saw.
So she would have been 16 at that time.
So she died at 16 and then was resurrected at 16.
Yep. And
Okay.
then,
But nothing on how old she was when she came to the Jedi? Nothing about that?
not seeing it yet.
They might not be. Might not be in the story. You just know
you
that.
might imagine.
Yeah. Because they take them young anyway. I'm assuming after the incident with the that lion thing or whatever that she
that was
tamed.
probably pretty soon after that.
I'm gonna say they took her. Yeah.
Shortly thereafter.
Yeah, because I mean the temple is her home. I mean,
Yeah.
she does know the temple inside and out. So
we really don't know much about her life
Oh.
Prior to
prior
Okay,
to
well, that's
her
interesting.
hanging out with Anakin. What you got?
So Ahsoka was discovered on her homeworld by Jedi Master Plo Koon.
That's
Explain why they're
Oh, little
that's the
Ahsoka.
closeness. Got it.
Little Ahsoka. Is that from the? Does it say what the source is for that? Is it a book? Is it part of the series or anything?
Doesn't specify.
Okay.
So there's.
Well, it comes from somewhere. Look at the like where it says that she was discovered. Is there a little number in parentheses next to it?
No.
Because there's sources for all that. I mean, they're not just going to put in some like random shit in Wikipedia. So I'm sure that there is like that information came from some cited source that Plo Koon got.
Sure it did. It's not giving it to me.
That's fine. We'll look into it more. We'll do a little deep dive on that. So, man, I think that's it for this week. So a short episode for us because we only watched 3 episodes. So
Yeah.
we're gonna watch 3 more episodes next week. So
The last 3 episodes.
the last 3 episodes of season 3, and then we're on to season 4 after that. Oh man.
It's gonna get deep.
It's gonna get deep. Like we're already deep in it. We're already
Deep in the poo.
Yeah, we're already about elbow.
right. So
Can we go all
yes,
the
we're
way
gonna
to
keep
the
going.
shoulder?
We're gonna keep going. So now that we've come this far with season 3, before we wrap for this episode, now that we've come this far, would we still say that it's worth watching seasons 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Or just start with seasons 3? Are we still saying that? Because season 1,
Well, yeah, because you would miss all kinds of shit. You have to watch all of it because it goes all over the place.
you're right, it does go.
I'm wondering if he does that on purpose to make sure you watch shit all.
No, I think there's just some ADHD going on, and he was
Oh.
like, "Hey, I think we should write this," but that contradicts that. We'll do a backstory next season. It's fine.
Of
We can do
course,
it.
Watch.
So keep
1 and
watching.
2.
Watch all of it. And if for no other reason, you get connected to the characters
Yeah.
and you appreciate the characters and you feel it more when they're no longer with us.
Yeah.
Echo.
I will say that as someone who has tried to watch this series multiple times and just not been gripped in or a big fan, and even through our watching of the first 2 seasons, there was episodes that I enjoyed, but nothing was still gripping me.
Yeah.
This season, so I would say if you're out there and you're listening, well, I guess if you're listening this far, you've probably already made up your mind that you're going to watch. But going forward, I will recommend to people that it's rough at times, but you got to make it through those first 2 seasons because it gets good.
Yeah.
Don't give up after the first 2 seasons. That's what I'll say.
All right.
Okay.
Because I've done that multiple times, and I'm in now. I'm invested. I'm invested.
We're all invested. Tony, what about you?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I definitely think that it is important to watch at least parts of the first and second season. I mean, there's definitely an episode here and there that you can skip, and it doesn't really hurt anything.
Sure.
But if you've made it this far, you can't skip anything now.
You gotta
are in.
Yeah, you're in it. Yeah, you're in it now.
You're invested.
Yeah. So
I
we're
think
gonna
the
keep going.
skipping is probably done at this point.
Yeah, no. All right. So that's going to do it. Homework for next week, Star Warriors, is going to be episodes 20, 21, and 22. And of course, catch up on any of our past episodes and always be sure to tell your friends and your enemies to give us a listen. So we're going to do some obligatory pimping. Check us out on all the social medias at the SWS Show. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast and our YouTube channel. And if you'd like to get some merch, the sensational Sherry's wearing a sweet hoodie, and you can customize these. Like she's got the Circle of Nerds hoodie on.
Where's the camera?
All right, there you go. Oh, hold on.
You're on.
There we go.
Hold on. Scooch over to your right a little bit.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Right? That's a good looking hoodie.
I like that logo.
She's got some assets. She's got some assets.
A couple of them.
God damn that donk. Okay. So, and of course, we've also got the, if you are a fan of Obi-Wan Kenobi, we've got our Obi fans shirt. Let me get this out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for our Obi fans and all kinds of other stuff over on our website, circleofnerds.com/merch. And if you'd like to know what's coming up, you can check out our website. We have a timeline on our website. That's often how we know what's coming up because I always forget what's coming up. So let you know when everything's coming out. So that's going to do it for us. Anything on the way out?
No.
No.
Nope. All right. So as always, we want to thank everyone for joining us. We know that you could be doing anything, anywhere else, and you've made the choice to listen to us or watch us. So thank you very, very much. We, of course, also want to thank all of our currently active duty service members and veterans for doing what you do, keeping people safe and putting yourselves before others. So thank you all for the sacrifice that you've made. And as always, remember, if no one does anything nice for you, do something nice to yourself. And we'll see y'all next week. Bye.